Good morning, economic developers. This is Chad Chancellor, co-founder of Next Move Group. Allie, I think I'm currently lost in Murdaugh, Georgia, finding my way. So we're going to be brief this morning. We'll wait just a second for economic developer to trickle in. Then I've got to do a board training in Murdaugh, Georgia. Yeah, and I'm literally lost. I'm one block from it. But I drove up last night, and it brought me a different way. I've been here before, but it brought me through the peanut country and all the processing facilities, which I enjoyed yesterday, up through southern Georgia, and I think they call it Albany over here. It's not Albany. I think they call it Albany. Allie and I are true crime fans, and I was actually at the North Carolina Economic Development Conference today. Murdaugh got found guilty of killing his whole family. I had never even heard of him, and it was all the talk up there because everybody knew him, and then so Allie and I talked about it. And yesterday, Allie, did you see the clerk who got into all kind of trouble for writing a book? She pled guilty to various misdeeds.
Yeah, to sharing evidence or stuff that wasn't supposed to be made public. And I don't know. She didn't get jail time though. She had a good attorney.
No, she didn't get jail time. They think he may get a new trial because she supposedly tampered with the jury, but they found her innocent of that, apparently. But I actually have been by that property, and it's in the middle of nowhere. If you've ever been to Moselle, South Carolina, it's in the middle of nowhere. Alex, that game last night, Jalen Hurts had 5 turnovers. I watched him in the Super Bowl with my own eyes throw precise passes. You never seen such.
He had 2 on one play.
I was going to say he set a historic stat to have 2 turnovers on one play last night.
My fantasy league, my best friend's playing the commish in the finals, and the commish had Jalen Hurts, and watching him have 2 turnovers on the same play was one of the funnier things I've seen in a long time. But it was a great game.
He's got to be injured. There's no way the same guy I saw throw precise with a laser precision. To go from that to
3 of those were tipped passes. One of them, the defensive lineman slipped back into coverage on his own. He didn't see. It wasn't really inaccuracies.
Yeah, but
A.J. Brown should have caught that one. So yes, he's not playing as good as last year. The whole offense isn't, but I don't blame him for.
Well, this is what I'm saying, and we'll start the show because I'm going to be in a real hurry today. I've been in that Superdome for 200 games, watching Drew Brees, the most accurate passer ever. The game I saw Jalen Hurts play in the Super Bowl, he was as precise as Drew Brees. And now, every time you turn around, turnover. I don't understand it. So anyway, let's go ahead. Maybe a few economic developers have trickled in now and start our show. So welcome to the morning show for economic developers. This is Chad, Alex, and Allie with Next Move Group. I'm coming to you remote today, so I hope you hear me well, and I'll log off soon and leave the show with them. But I want to spotlight Allie. Yesterday sent me an article, and Allie, I may get the figures wrong, so you'll have to pull it up where you can read it. But 212,000 women, am I right on that, Allie, have left the workforce this year, and 40-something thousand men have entered the workforce. Allie, am I at least in the ballpark with my figures?
You're in the ballpark for sure. Basically, the U.S. women labor force rate is the lowest it's been since 1988. It's at 57.1%. And over 2 million women are still out of the workforce since pre-COVID numbers, which when you look at the financial cost of that, it's something like it's going to hit $1 trillion in U.S. GDP by 2030. And so, yeah, just staggering numbers, and they continue to grow, unfortunately.
And I think what I read, 200-something thousand this year, and I believe it was through August, the latest statistic, because you had the government shut down, so they didn't update the statistic. 200-something thousand women have left the workforce this year, and but 40,000 men have entered, meaning a lot of people are thinking that what's behind this is child care. There is a child care shortage crisis across the country. Doesn't matter if you're in Tampa, Florida, or in a little rural town. It's very expensive, or it may just simply not exist. And, when I grew up, I lived across the road from Grandma. So I went and stayed with Grandma. 40 years later, people don't do that. People have moved and they don't have access to that. And it's forcing women out of the workforce. And if I were an economic developer, if you have industries, well, number one, we all got to think about it, but some industries hire more women just by nature. And if you do, this is a huge problem for you. You know, if you've got, like in Paducah, Kentucky, we had a plant, I think it was called Dippin' Dots. And if I remember, they had 55 to 60% female workers, if I remember. I may be a little off. But if you got a plant like that, this is going to hit you even harder. And so you really need to be thinking about what you're going to do from a child care perspective to attack this.
Well, and one thing that really stuck out to me that I would have never imagined is in 33 states in the country that child care costs more than college tuition now, which is just in 33 states. So it's not even half the country, it's a majority. So that that really stuck out to me in the article too. So
I know because college costs are coming down either.
I know multiple communities have built child care facilities in their industrial park. Clarksville, Tennessee just did one. And I think it fits up to 1,200 kids. And so economic developers probably need to look at that. But the fact that 200 females came out and 40 men went in, that is a staggering statistic. And every economic developer needs to think about it. But most certainly, if you have an industry in town that has, for whatever reason, the majority females, you need to probably visit them on your BRE visits quickly, because they may have workforce problems. I saw yesterday, and then Allie, I'm going to have to log off. I will leave it to y'all because I'm literally lost. I got to call and see where I'm within a block, but I got to figure out where I got to go so I can start my board training. I saw where U.S. Steel is reopening a facility in Illinois they had shut down in 2023 in the St. Louis area. So, Allie, I want you to talk about that. But real quick, before I log off and leave it to y'all, let me tell people a little bit about Next Move Group. So we exist to create economic growth for small to mid-sized communities, companies, and nonprofits. I am in Murdaugh, Georgia today doing a board training, 3-hour board training for the Industrial Board and the Downtown Development Authority. I'm doing this one in person. I was up here last year and did one. It must have went well. They've asked me back. But we can do them by Zoom. We can do them however you want to do it. Obviously Zoom is cheaper on the cost side. So if you need economic development board training, we go over everything from what it is to how to make a return on it, why incentives matter, even Robert's Rules of Order. So if that's something that would interest you, then up above you'll find our phone number. Call us after the show or email us at info@thenextmovegroup.com. Also, if you know of a community looking for an economic developer that's a good job, let us know. And we'd be happy to help them find one with an executive search. Now, if it's not a good job, if they've had disarray for whatever reason, a lot of those are out there. There was an economic developer arrested with his mayor 2 or 3 weeks ago. We don't want those. No, we don't want those. If it's a good job, feel free to call us and we will pursue that. So I'm going to log off, but Allie, I want you to talk about that U.S. Steel deal, and y'all have a good day.
all right.
You
Hope
too.
the board
Have
training
fun.
goes well.
Yeah, so Granite City, Illinois, they had a big U.S. Steel plant, and I think 22, 23, they shut down their furnace there. I'm not sure if they had, I think just one furnace, 400 to 500 employees, but I did see recently where they announced they are bringing that back online. So it should be 400 to 500 employees. A lot of this has to do with steel demand. It's funny, at Granite City, when I lived in downtown St. Louis, sports betting was not legal, so I had to drive over to the Illinois side, and I would just do a loop right around kind of Granite City where that plant was, so I know exactly where it is. But Allie, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. It's good for the St. Louis Metro, it's good for Illinois, but also it's a national problem. And the fact that they shut these furnaces down not 2 or 3 years ago, along with some power plants, and they're bringing all that stuff back online is very interesting.
Yeah, and really one of those site selection projects that we were all working, but Chad and I did all the touring for, was tied to the steel industry, and just meeting with the states and hearing how big of an issue it is for the United States. I'm glad that we're starting to turn things back online that we previously had, not just trying to onshore everything. So I think we're starting to finally address, with, like we talked about in yesterday's show, the nuclear facilities that are starting to be utilized again, and steel turning back on in the U.S.
Well, it'll be interesting to see a lot of the power plants, the coal plants and other things that have been taken offline in the last 5 years, with this power shortage and power demand that our country is facing. I'd call it a crisis. See if some of that's going to come back online. If it's just going to be an administration thing, and the second the administration switches, they take it back off. But it's very interesting because there is a lot of that infrastructure around that, that is available that could be brought online to help with this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my thoughts on the coal industry. There's the whole reason why I was a Friends of Coal license plate supporter, and just some of my family having ties to the coal industry. So we'll see what they do there. I know a lot of families that would be positively impacted if that came back online as well. So I guess
Any other news?
Yeah.
Any other news in economic development?
One thing, not necessarily movers and shakers. This is kind of we have worked with previously the LVG EA, Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. And I know I think our first show, we mentioned how Danielle Casey had taken over that role. Well, she's really hit the ground running since she's been there, because Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance and is partnering up with the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada, and they are establishing the Economic Development Authority. Let me get this right. Nevada Economic Developers Association. They've come together to form that, which is going to be the state's first organization dedicated to just training and education and collaboration among all economic developers throughout the state.
So Nevada did not have a state association for the economic development professionals?
They did not. And Danielle Casey and Taylor Adams over at the Economic Development Authority, came together.
No, both of them. Yeah, Danielle, I met her, one of my first trips in economic development had to be 15 years ago in Arizona. So she's had an amazing career. She is one of the stars of the industry. She's going to do very well there. But that is good for Nevada as a whole. I know when I was in Kentucky doing economic development, I got a lot of value out of the state association. So that's good to see. Good to see that coming online.
Yeah, for sure. So that was for economic development is kind of the biggest news that I saw in terms of just what some economic developers are doing, and they're very recent into their roles. I don't know if you've seen, I know you've been looking for jobs for some of our agent clients. I don't know if there's been any notable ones that might not be a good fit for our clients that we represent.
No, nothing new. Nothing really new from yesterday. I know there is Hudson, New York, the county there is searching. I saw a little bit west of Chicago, a county in Illinois is searching. I know we've got an Alabama search coming online, but not a lot since yesterday that I have seen. So, is it still snowing and cold in Nashville? I see you got your sweater on. Has the weather broke you up?
Not snowing. The sun has finally broke through the clouds. It's not gray and dreary, but
Nice.
still
You
very...
said you thought you were living in the Pacific Northwest.
I did. That's what it felt like. But we got a little bit of sunshine trying to stay out, but still pretty chilly. So
We've had a cold front down here in the Tampa area for sure, in St. Pete. So it's been in the high 60s. I think it's finally going to get to the high 70s this weekend, so I can.
There you go, heat wave.
Get out and enjoy it for sure. So.
Heat wave.
All right. Well, everybody, we hope you have a good day. We're going to get started working, and thank you all for joining in or watching on replay or listening on our podcast channel. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us grow this thing. And we'll probably be back definitely Friday, if not a day before. So make sure you tune in and check out and listen.
Yep. All right. Have a good day, everyone.